Earlier this week, Steve Malzberg interviewed author Jack Cashill for his book, TWA 800, The Crash, The Cover-Up, and The Conspiracy. Here's the conversation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, July 17th, 1996, a little over 20 years ago, TWA Flight 800 crashed shortly after takeoff from JFK. No survivors, 230 people on board, and boy, oh boy, there's been so many theories about what really happened. Jack Cashill has a brand new book. He's a writer, producer, and author of TWA 800, The Crash, The Cover-Up, and The Conspiracy. Jack, welcome, sir.
Hey, Steve, thanks for having me on. It's my pleasure.
No, it's my pleasure. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was at WABC Radio here in New York and called in to work. The phone rang. We got to go live, special, blah, 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 blah. And I spent the next many hours on the air following this story. And the witness reports came very early of people seeing something go up towards the plane and hit it. People described it a missile. There was there some terrorist in a boat somewhere that launched it? I mean, what about the missile theory?
Well, here's what we know now, thanks to the discovery of this really astonishing cache of CIA documents that were released just recently. We know that the missile theories would attracted the CIA on day one. They involved themselves. 2 weeks after the crash, the CIA met with the FBI missile team. And at that time, the FBI missile team told the CIA that they had already interviewed 144 excellent eyewitnesses, excellent, their word. The evidence was overwhelming, that this was a surface-to-air missile. The reports were too consistent for it to be anything but a surface-to-air missile. And then a CIA analyst told his superior, names are redacted, that he discouraged the FBI from coming forward with this report. And he succeeded. Thanks to these documents, Steve, we can track now the mechanics of the cover-up. It's astonishing that they got away with it, and it's even more astonishing that they, in a sense, continue to get away with it to this day.
There was so many theories put forward. When there was traces, correct me if I'm wrong, traces of explosive material found or whatever, they claimed that they conducted some kind of drill on that plane prior, and that's why there was explosive. That's why explosive sniffing dogs found this stuff. Why do you think there was this kind? I'm not going to give away everything in the book, and we only have another couple of minutes to go. But so I don't want to go into extreme detail on all these points. But in general, why do you think there was this cover-up that you write about, as opposed to just telling people the truth or letting these claims get out there from the FBI? Was it that it would cripple the airline industry, or what do you think it was? And what role did the Clinton administration, Bill Clinton, have in all this?
Well, that's an excellent question. I was on CNN once, and they asked me that same question. I just said spontaneously, this is Bill Clinton's Benghazi moment. He had an election that he seemed certain to win, and then he had a national security disaster happen on his watch. And like Obama in 2012 and Hillary, he just tried to kick the can down the road past November. That's why the story kept changing. They see, what can I get away with? So they switched it from a missile to a bomb, then finally to a mechanical failure. And they knew from day one, that missiles took out this airplane.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Playing devil's advocate, if a terrorist, whoever it was, homegrown, radical Islam, whatever, took out this plane with a missile, unless, I'm going to ask you very quickly, could it have been a naval missile that went astray? If it was it that, do you believe, or if it was a terrorist, why, thankfully, hasn't it happened again?
Well, yeah, it is. Unfortunately, the evidence leads very, very strongly to it being a naval misfire. I would rather it not have been that, but that's where the evidence leads. The Navy was certainly involved. The Navy was absolutely involved with the cover-up, but it could not have been the Navy's idea. They would not and could not have done it without authority from the White House.
All right, folks, it's all in this book. You're not going to want to miss it. Read this book. There it is, TWA 800, The Crash, The Cover-Up, and The Conspiracy by Jack Cashill. Jack, great to talk to you, sir. Good luck.